Are you feeling the pressure of Valentine's Day? I mean, February 14th, here it is. I mean, already online, I've seen tons of posts of, oh, look what I got. I've got like love pictures, couple pictures. And, if you're single or if your relationship is on rocky ground, maybe you're feeling that extra anxiety or extra pressure because of Valentine's Day. I mean, there is a lot of expectations about what the day should look like, whether you're in a romantic relationship or not. So if you are wanting to know what the secret is to finding your true love, then today's episode of Coffee and Confidence Show is for you. So welcome to episode 30 of Coffee and Confidence, Secret to Finding Your True Love with my special guest, Anna. So glad to have Anna here. So Anna, let me just tell you a little bit about Anna. She's a trained counselor and life coach. She's got years of experience working with families all around the world. She's truly a spark of light in the midst of chaos, and I'm so excited to have her here today, shining her light for you to add a different perspective and share the secret to finding your true love. So welcome to the show, Anna. So glad to have you. Please share a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much. I'm so happy to be here. It's an honor, and I am looking forward to kind of diving into Valentine's Day and that with you, because for me, it was tension. Like you said, it was this expectation, and I really, being single for more than I was with a partner, I'm currently single, it kind of was angry. I didn't like it, and I'd stomp around the whole day. So I'm excited to dive into that. Me, how I ended up as a life coach for mom. For many, many years, I worked with families. I worked for kids. And through that, and through my own support needs, I found that, I was often working with kids, getting them, and then putting them back to the family, and noticing that it was the moms who really needed the support, because it kind of trickled down to our kids. So for me, it's exciting to start at the top and help them model and work with their kids.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, that's amazing. And I think that is so true. Even in my work, I've had many people approach me and ask me to work with the children. And, as much as, it's lovely to work with the children, I really believe what I do, it definitely trickles down, because my belief system is, what we experience from birth till like around, 8, 9, 10 years old. I mean, there's different theories about what age exactly, but that becomes our normal, right? So yeah. if we are, shown respect and, experience loving communication at home, then that just becomes part of who we are. So much of our behavior and our belief system starts at home. So I really commend you for what you're doing and really acknowledging that moms need the support as well.
Yeah. Yes.
It's amazing. So thank you so much for being here. So since this is the Coffee and Confidence Show, it's time for What is in Your Cup. Do you want to share first what's in your cup, Anna?
I'm a sucker for these cups. I buy one. I have, 15. My daughter laughs at me. I'm obsessed. But every day I get a new cup and with a message for my day. So today I have had my coffee, and so now I'm drinking water only because I'd be vibing too much. I had my coffee, now watering it down a little bit.
So your mug says explore, is that correct?
Yes. Yeah. So I pick a new one for every day I have.
So what does this message explore mean to you today?
Explore new experiences. I have done what we're doing today. I've done different interviews. Most of them have been pre-recorded. So this is fun to do one that's actually live.
Yeah, okay, this is amazing. Well, I'm glad to have
There's no going back and saying, "Oh, it's okay. We'll edit that out." This is it. This is
it. This is real. This is in the now. All right. Well, thank you so much for sharing your cup with us and what's in your cup. In my cup today, I always have time for coffee cup. There's not coffee in my cup today. It is noon. It is lunchtime here. I've had my coffee as well. But I want to share with you what's in my cup, because just within the last 4 or 5 days, I started drinking a turmeric drink. And I've heard about this turmeric, and I'm like, oh, I don't know. That probably doesn't taste very good. So I decided to research a couple of different recipes for the drink and try it out. And honestly, I was quite surprised with the recipe that I chose. It's quite tasty. Um, so in the comments, I can put the recipe to the turmeric drink. But basically, there's turmeric, there's lemon juice, there's apple cider vinegar, maple syrup, cayenne pepper, and hot water. But I can put the amounts in the comments once we're all done the show. If anybody wants to give it a try and let me know what you think. So for anybody that's tuning in live, this turmeric drink that I'm drinking, do you guys incorporate like lemon, turmeric, that sort of thing into your daily health habits? I would love to know. So that is what's in my cup. As well, I want to remind you that this is a live show. Whether you're watching live or catching the replay, please give us a like, give us a share. Let us know that you're tuning in and where you're tuning in from. And the best way to get involved is to get in the conversation. When you get in the conversation, you get way more out of it. So I do see that we have a couple people tuning in live. So please say hello. Let us know where you're tuning in from. Awesome. So this whole secret to finding your true love, I want to talk a little bit about Valentine's Day and the pressure of it. Like, for instance, on Facebook yesterday, scrolling on Facebook, and I see this comment about, you know what? No, I don't want flowers on Valentine's Day. I want flowers on Wednesday on your way home from work, when you're actually thinking of me, not that you're forced to think of me. Mm-hmm. So I'm thinking more and more. There's people that are kind of getting away from the commercialism of Valentine's Day, but it's that pressure, right? So, like, what's your experience and what's your kind of take on this whole pressure of Valentine's Day?
I agree that there is big pressure. I really feel for depending on the relationship, the other person who's under that pressure to get flowers, whether it's your husband or the other partner, whoever that person is, it falls into. I feel for them, because it is big pressure. And I made a few years ago, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I made a commitment to myself that I would buy myself flowers. In a relationship, I remember stomping around because I didn't get flowers. I didn't get that. And there was this myth that they should be able to read my mind. He should know that I want flowers. So I found by buying myself flowers, really took that pressure off, that it wasn't this big expectation anymore.
Mm-hmm. And when you say that you bought yourself flowers now, are you talking about just in general, like kind of, any day of the year? Or are you specifically talking about Valentine's Day?
Every day of the year. Yeah. Yeah. And I think it takes off the pressure for those special occasions too. As much as roses, because they jack up the prices. I was at the grocery store yesterday, and I think a bouquet of flowers was, $10 last week. This week it's like $35. So they commercialize it to as much as they can.
So, sorry, I didn't really catch the price difference. What was the price difference?
It was about $10 last week, and the same bouquet is like $24 or $30. So prices go up. They not only is it commercial, they kind of use that to their advantage as well.
Yeah, no doubt, right?
Yeah,
no doubt, for sure. So just a little bit more about the pressure and where this comes from. Now, especially with social media, we're in a time where there, so many people, I would say the majority of people are on social media. Honestly, any Instagram account that I go on to, like, everybody's like, leading these perfect lives. They've got beautiful bodies, like the perfect shot, the perfect lighting. And it's just like, especially for those people who are single, or perhaps, the relationship is on shaky ground, that, scrolling through, and especially on a day like today where social media is just flooded with, love and Valentines and presents and, huggy, kissy pictures, all this kind of stuff, right?
Yeah.
That can really eat away at a person if they are feeling less than inside.
Agreed. Yes. Yeah.
Right. But so what advice do you have, like right in this moment, for people who are perhaps in that situation and they're scrolling through and feeling less than because their relationship's not perfect, or maybe they're single?
Mm-hmm. First, and it's not avoiding, but first, it's okay to shut the phone off. Like, if you know that the more you the more you go down, the more you're getting triggered, the more you're getting upset, you have permission. You don't have to do that. Don't do that to yourself. Just shut it off. Take a break from it. If it's not serving you, like, ask yourself, what's my intention here? Why am I on social media? And if you find yourself getting more and more lower, it's okay to just shut it off. Take a break for the day.
I love that.
Yeah. And then you're not forced to it. And then do something for you. Like, really, we'll dive into it a little bit more, but like, do something for you. Look at something that you're grateful for.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, that's amazing. So I don't think you shared with this with anybody yet, but I know this about you, so I'm going to share it. That you already said that you would work with moms, and you have a podcast, correct?
Yes, that's correct. Yes.
And what's the name of your podcast?
My podcast is The Flourishing Moms.
Right. I love this title, The Flourishing Moms. And I'm just wanted to speak to the moms in general, right? Like, the moms are the ones who are constantly putting everybody else's needs before their own, right? They've got kids to take care of, they've got themselves to take care of, the home, the chores, all kinds of stuff. I mean, they're juggling so many balls up there. Yes. And, they often put everybody else's needs before their own. But I just want to remind everybody, all the moms out there, that, it's perfectly fine to put yourself first. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah.
Do you ever talk with like clients or guests on the show that have mom guilt?
Big time. Yes. That was one of the things that comes up often. I did a survey recently just to kind of help dig deeper when I deal with clients. And I think it came out with 80% of the moms in the survey believed it was normal and that it was just the way it was. Mm-hmm. So it's become my mission almost to help them, that we don't have to live like that. We don't have to be with mom guilt. And I think special holidays like this feed so strongly into that.
Mm-hmm. How so?
I think, and we talked earlier, and you even mentioned it, with those lovey-dovey pictures. Again, with our kids stuff, I've seen so many pictures of kids, Valentine's Day boxes and kids prizes. It's kind of gone up. We used to give, when we were in school, we used to give little cards. I choose you, and those fun things. And now it's
I choose you.
And it was fun, but now it's gone, we're sending cupcakes, we're sending gifts, we're totally 10xing what we give to Valentine's Day. And I think that puts big pressure on moms to have everything perfect. Mm-hmm. So many moms are up till 2 and 3 in the morning making the cupcakes, making the Valentine's Day. The kids aren't even doing it anymore. We're doing it for them. Mm-hmm. So we've put this pressure on ourselves to make everything perfect.
Right.
And it kind of come from not about the kids anymore. It's about us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's true. But yeah, thank you for sharing that. I just want to highlight a little bit of what you do and who you work with, like the Flourishing Moms there, right? So I just wanted to bring the moms into it a little bit. So the title of our show today is The Secret to Finding Your True Love. Mm-hmm. So for those, we're talking to kind of like all women here, right? And the secret to finding your true love. I mean, whether you're single, whether your relationship's in rocky ground, you know, whether you're married or in a relationship. So all the women out there, what is that secret to finding your true love? I want to know.
Yeah, as cliche as it sounds, and it comes down to ourselves. I had heard that message over and over again, and I was like, oh, it's some cliche. I didn't believe it. I didn't buy into it. And about 6 years ago, during my personal growth journey, I actually learned to love myself, and that's when all those light bulbs came out, and it just really resonated, really clicked on me that how I was ending up in these bad relationships, how all this stuff was not helping me, because it came down to I wasn't respecting and I wasn't loving myself. Mm-hmm. So if I didn't love myself, it's hard to let anybody else love me.
Right. I'm just making a note here. Is there something I want to ask you about that you said?
Yeah, and so it became this journey of really learning who I was and who Anna is. I often, being a mom, it was Anna the mom. So I got joy out of, the grades my daughter get, or, what my kids were, which is not saying that there's anything wrong with, but it just became enmeshed, that I wasn't able to separate who I was separated from my kids.
Right. That's great. You sort of answered my question there, because I had written down, how do women demonstrate that they do not love themselves? So that's one way, right? Is that, excuse me, they can't separate themselves from their kids, or their kids' joy is actually their joy.
Yes. Yeah.
The kids' accomplishments are their accomplishments.
Agreed. Yeah. Yeah. And then also for not even moms, as single women, even, it's, our job, and all those things became our accomplishment. So it's not who we are.
Right. So I'm hearing a little bit of like loss of self-identity in there.
Mm-hmm.
Is that correct?
That's correct. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just making some notes here. Yeah. So loss of identity.
Mm-hmm.
So what was one key shift in your life from moving towards like not loving yourself to loving yourself? So can you share a little piece about yourself, of how, like, something that you had to shift?
I think, and we hear that coin word self-care and all that kind of thrown around, but it is, for me, it was really embracing what that was. Because I was so burnt out and so stressed out. Self-care became that need to go away for 2 weeks because I was so burnt out. Really embracing that it's the day-to-day things. It's how I, if I'm doing my hair in the mirror, if I'm saying, oh my gosh, that hair is so awful. Oh, I've got this here all over my bags. That's not self-care. It's how we, if I look in the mirror and I'm like, oh yeah, I look good. It's building ourselves up. It's the small little things each day that we do, rather than, going crazy and then ending up, I need 2 weeks away just to kind of refresh.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what I got out of that is that positive self-talk is so important, because the words we choose to use affects what we experience, right? What we think, feel, and experience, really.
Yeah. 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 Because if every day we're saying, oh, Anna, you're so fat. Oh, Anna, you don't look good. It begins to build up on it. You think we say, even if we said one thing bad to ourselves every day, that's in a year, that's a lot. But normally we would say there'd be a handful of things that we say wrong against ourselves each day. It kind of adds up.
Mm-hmm. So for the people that are tuning in live, I'd love to hear from you. What sort of positive self-talk do you do for yourself? Or maybe there's something negative that you catch yourself saying, and when you catch yourself saying it, you flip it really quick. We'd love to hear from you and what that is. But honestly, too, like even with like negative self-talk versus positive self-talk, like the negative self-talk, it totally lowers a person's energetic vibration. Therefore, we tend to like make ourselves small. We tend to like, just kind of look down. We're less than confident. We may be less likely to engage in conversation. So that affects like your whole day. Right. I do this exercise with my clients quite often. Is we use the word, basically, I'm sorry. Right. That's the word I use. It's not a negative self-talk necessarily, but it does have like a negative connotation. Oh, I'm sorry, my house is so messy. I'm sorry, for just standing there. And it's just when you say that, it's just like, oh. Whereas, if you say, oh, pardon me, excuse me, or I'm so glad you came for coffee. I don't care if my house is a mess, right? Like, I'm so glad you're here, right? It's a much more uplifting. Same thing with positive self-talk. It's like way more uplifting. It's going to increase your confidence, boost your self-esteem. It's going to put a smile on your face more than anything.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah. And it sounds like just one little thing, but it's huge. And if we can just start there, it's so much huge. And think of all the people around us. If our kids hear us talking, our partner, our wife, our husband hears us saying, looking in the mirror, saying all this negative stuff, it's going to affect those relationships around us too.
Exactly. You're exactly right. But yeah, there's this whole saying is that you have to love yourself first before you can love anyone else. Right. But yeah, I mean, so many people know this saying, but when you experience it and when you know it and you live it and you like know with every ounce of your being what that means.
Yes. Yeah.
That's when it'll change.
Agreed. Like you said, instead of us crouching down like that, we're open.
You're more open to receiving. Absolutely. I remember years ago when I was going through my transformation, and I was working with a life coach, and at the time I was like, well, like even the relationship that I was in, it was like, well, it wasn't working out quite right. And I remember my coach said, well, who are you being? And I'm like, well, like I make dinner all the time. Like I always, kiss goodbye, kiss get home, like kiss goodnight. And then he says again, no, you're not listening to me. Who are you being when you are doing those things? It's like, oh, the doing wasn't good enough. It's the being. And until I fully loved myself, only then could I be that person I needed to be to experience abundance and love and all that.
Yeah. And we're really fascinating people if we get to know ourselves. It's really quite fascinating of all the things that we like and we can do. It just kind of brings that down.
Something else that I wanted to touch on as well and get your perspective on is, focusing, again, it's like with the whole positive, negative thing, but focusing on the positive. I really believe that our society is conditioned to look at the negative. Can you offer, your insight on that?
I agree that we're, when you see even like social media, it's not, I agree. Like sometimes we're focused on arguments or what the negative is. And we do a post and, all this negative comes in. It's, and I haven't really narrowed it down to what it is. It's almost like we're afraid or don't want to pay a compliment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I haven't quite figured it out, but I think love the gossip. We say we don't like it, but we're kind of drawn to that for whatever reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So it's really shifting the negative self-talk to more positive self-talk. What other tip do you have? Another tip for the viewers on how they can really look inside and really truly love themselves?
I've used this, with clients, and I've said it before, is go back. Remember as kids, we would try different things and we'd be okay with it. We'd go, Mom, sign us up for this club. Oh, we don't like it. Sign us up for this. And it was okay to try different things. And I think as adults, it's important to go back to that. Sign up for singing, sign up for volleyball. And if you don't like it, it's okay. It's how we can discover what we really like.
Mm-hmm.
We get stuck, and we've lost that childlike ability to try new things. Go to, I think in the state where, depending on where you're watching, Hobby Lobby or Michael's, go down the aisles and see if there's anything that jumps out at you. Try painting, try new things, and it's okay if you don't like it.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's important to kind of find out who we are and what we like.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I'm smiling from ear to ear because there's something I want to share. I am also a ski coach, so I coach alpine skiing, and I have a group of women that started as beginners, and after last night was like the 4th week. They're in a 6-week program, so last night was week 4, and there's lots of kids on the hill, and these ladies, are ladies, they've got grown children and whatnot. And, I take them in the mini terrain park, and we're like doing jumps and box jumps. And I'm like, hey, why should the kids have all the fun?
Yes,
So it's just reconnecting with that childlike ability and just, let go of any judgment, just embrace the moment, be present, experience joy.
And if you don't like it, you don't like it. It's okay.
Exactly, right? But at least try it. I love that.
Yeah. And I think coming back to that, and if we're stuck, depending on what community is, it's always community centers. Just kind of go on, and it's relatively reasonable price. Just go down and kind of say, oh, this looks like a fun class. This looks like a fun class, and just do it. Make a commitment to yourself. Try something new, so it's not so big and scary. A new thing once a month. Okay, today I'm going to try. It doesn't even have to be big like skiing. It could be a little thing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. It could be something as simple as I'm going to go to a different grocery store.
Yes.
Really?
Or I'm going to take a new, because we're also getting stuck in a rut. We'll take the same drive home. We'll do the same restaurant, go for the same place. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Go to a new grocery store. Take a different drive home.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. That's really awesome. Well, before we get going, is there any last tips that you want to share with the viewers today, Anna?
Yeah, just to remind them, it's okay to shut off the phone. It's okay to do that and to try new things. And, if you could come up today, depending on where you are, it's either noon or 9 in the morning. Think of one nice thing that you can say about yourself.
Mm-hmm. And we want you to drop it in the comments and share it.
Yes. Yeah. One nice thing. And it has to be from you. We can't ask our partner or ask anybody else what they like about you. It's got to be something you, whether it's, your eyes, your hair, or whatever. I'd love to hear, from all the viewers, what's one thing that you really like about yourself.
Mm-hmm. Awesome. Well, let's just do that now. What's one thing that you like about yourself, Anna?
This hair. I've gotten too used to it. I have like beach hair, and took me a while to kind of, because it's wavy, because it's curly, it's taken me years to kind of get a hold of it, and I really quite like it now.
Oh, well, that's amazing. Well, about like myself specifically, I really like my eyes.
Aw, I'm
Yeah.
gonna get closer. I love your eyes. Yes.
And yeah, so that's what I love about myself. So thank you so much, Anna, for sharing. I want to welcome you to, share with people how they can get in touch with you.
One thing is look for the Flourishing Moms podcast. We're on iTunes, Spotify, different other ways. Just in Google, just put the Flourishing Moms and they'll totally come up. And my website is annamilne.com. So it's ANNAMILNE.com. And then come find me on that way as well.
All right, great. So I welcome you to reach out to Anna, send her a friend request on Facebook, check out her website, and yeah, definitely check out the Flourishing Moms podcast. Would love for you to check that out. And if you've enjoyed this episode of the Coffee and Confidence Show, this is a weekly Facebook show, Thursdays, right here. We go live. You can always catch the replay. So yeah, tune in every Thursday. As well, you can connect with me on my website, send me a friend request, and yeah, let's make changes happen together. I love it. Well, that's it. We'll see you next week on episode 31 of the Coffee and Confidence Show. Take care, guys, and thanks for being here, Anna.
Thank you so much for having me, hon.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bye, everyone.